folks. This is no makeup, no hair, no glasses. This is nothing. But somebody decided it was important enough to have this conversation, so we thought we'd share it with you as well. So we're sitting at breakfast. We were actually going to work out, and the gym was closed because we had another storm come through overnight. And we decided to divert to breakfast, so here we are. And I realized that I'm so thankful that I have a man that I love. We're both geeks. We're total geeks. You know what we talked about over breakfast? Artificial intelligence. I kid you not. We were talking about artificial intelligence. And then, of course, that goes to EVs and... Okay,
So, right, folks, before we get there, we would like to say thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing. And we're now up to 7,000 views. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But we still need you to subscribe, post, and comment. And before we go, Carlos, look, man.
We bought one.
We bought one.
We don't know how to work it.
We just don't know how to work it yet. So I will still be hitting the button to turn it off, but we will learn how to use this. I wouldn't say so. Shout out to Carlos.
Anyway, the reason why we wanted to talk to you was because we read this. We were also talking about this awesome article that we saw. It was actually on MSN.com from the Motley Fool, and he was talking about hidden costs of an EV. And we were debating. We agreed with everything that they mentioned, but we're not sure they're really hidden. So let's talk about it. So the first thing that they said was a hidden cost, he said, was higher insurance rate.
Yeah.
Yes. You need to presume that your insurance is going to increase. It does, and it will, but I'm not sure there was a hidden cost because we called our insurance agent before we bought both of those vehicles.
Mm-hmm. So the one thing that I realized was that a lot of insurance companies, because Tesla is so new, repairs are very expensive. So our insurance went, I think we were paying $195. It went from $195 to almost $300.
Over 300.
Yeah, over 300. Yeah, it's like
it
$350 now.
Yeah, it almost doubled.
Yeah. So, but that's to be expected. I mean, and so I call it a shock. I don't call it a hidden cost. I call it a shock, because I'm frugal. So that was
well,
like a shock.
The other thing we have to consider is that when we had one Tesla and one combustible car, then everything was fine.
Mm-hmm.
But when we went to two, that made the difference. That's
Exactly.
what kicked us to almost double the insurance. So yes, there are higher insurance rates, but just like if you were shopping for a combustible engine car, you would ask your insurance agent, if I buy this BMW Series 7, how much is my insurance going to go up?
Right. Exactly.
We did the same thing. All right. The second thing was repair costs, which I think are interesting, as I'm not really sure I agree with that, but I understand the premise. And let us explain. If something goes wrong with some of the larger, it's a computer.
Mm-hmm.
It's a computer on wheels. If something goes down with the computer, anything that has to do with the computer, you're screwed.
Mm-hmm. Not necessarily screwed. Computers and batteries, I would say that's probably your highest cost. You don't have oil changes. You don't have all the mechanics that you would have.
Yeah.
It's mostly wiring and batteries and basically
tires.
And tires.
Tires.
Yes.
That's
tires.
the thing that I think people don't consider, because the wear on a tire on a Tesla, because you have a 5,000 pound battery up under a car that can be anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 pounds. That's a big wear and tear on tires. So, like, he teases me because my Red Phoenix has got 21-inch tires.
There we go with the 21 inches.
Yeah, but now that I've been through the snowstorm, I'm not giving up my 21-inch tires, but...
Tomato.
Whatever. All I'm saying is, yes, they are more expensive.
So, folks, what you'll find, tire replacement, we're running anywhere between $800 to 1,800. Just depending on what kind of tires you get.
Yeah.
There's all year round tires, there's winter tires, there's summer tires. Here...
And they wear differently.
They wear differently. And so here, because it rains a lot, we have the all-weather purpose rain tires because of the region in which we live in. So that's something to take in consideration. Another thing of cost-wise that I didn't expect, which was kind of shocking, I'm not even at 70,000 miles on my car, and I needed new rotors and new brakes, and that was $1,500.
Yeah.
That was a shock.
Yeah.
You know, because normally rotors last about 100,000 miles. But you got to remember, cars are a lot heavier. There's a lot more wear and tear on them. So that's to be expected. But I think as time progresses on, the costs will begin to go down. It's like anything. Anything that's new, the cost is going to be high. And then eventually, as you produce more, the cost starts to go down. You find better suppliers.
Now, the other thing about this, and we'll close that on this part, on this particular repair should also include fuel, because it does cost to buy a charge.
Yes.
The days of having the free charge are over. So if you have an older Tesla, if you bought 10 years ago, yes, you might have free supercharging, but they don't have that anymore. So supercharging is just like buying gas, only much cheaper.
Yep.
But there is a cost.
Yep.
So the third thing is higher initial cost.
Yes.
Absolutely. And let me defend that. This is the first time that I have ever in my adult life paid this much money for a car. I have never done that because that's just not my thing. But this time I did. But let's be clear. My Model Y cost the same as a Kia Telluride. Hello. Let's talk about this. People are putting down $60,000 and $70,000 for a Kia. Right? And yes, you would expect to pay that if you went to a Mercedes dealership. Yes, you would expect to pay that if you went to a BMW dealership. So why is this any different?
Yeah. And then also, folks, if you look at cars in general, cars have become more expensive. Whether an EV or it's a gas powered car, or as we call it, an ICE car.
Yeah.
They're more expensive.
Right.
You know,
if you go to GMC and want a Denali, hello?
Exactly.
Oh my God, that's $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 worth of a truck. We won't even talk about Ford F-150s and
right.
I'm just saying, it's not, we think it's expensive because we see it as new. But the truth is, if you go on any car dealership, if Kia can sell a $65,000, $70,000 SUV, then
exactly. So, you know, it is what it is. You know.
So yes, there are higher upfront costs,
and
I
don't call it
other car.
I don't consider it to be a hidden feature, a hidden cost, because we're telling you. So because
it's
not hidden anymore.
Right.
It's out in the public.
Right. So the other thing, number 4, is higher vehicle registration fee. That is no joke.
Man.
Do your homework. Call whomever. Call your DMV people in your state and find out what the vehicle registration fees are going to be on your car, because it is no joke.
Yeah, mine was $1,500.
What?
Yeah, it was $1,500. But you got to remember, we're talking almost 4 years ago.
Yeah, that's right.
So it was 4 years ago. There were not
so what
very
was
many.
Mine?
Yours was $300.
Okay.
So they've gone down quite a bit.
But initially, it was the big shocker.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And the big shocker there is that I had to take my car to the, what's the thing where you do the
when they do the emission test, we actually had to go through that with his car.
Which was hilarious. And the guy, I was trying to explain to him, I said, yo, bro, this doesn't produce any form of pollution. I'm He's like, well, I can't find your tailpipe. I was like, because there
don't
is
have
a tailpipe.
one.
So, you know, I think now, as time has progressed on,
they finally figured
it out, and people have gotten smart. So now you don't have to take your car to go get an emissions test. But 4 years ago, you had to do that.
You had to do it, right?
So you learning, they're learning, we're learning. You know, it's progressing.
Right. And the last one is range anxiety. So let's talk about range anxiety. I am going to
Elizabeth, I think I'm about to have the big one.
Honestly, range anxiety has to be taken into account the same way when we had gas-powered cars. Think about it. You had to figure out on your car, whether it was new or used, you have to figure out what E means. You have to figure out how far away you can go with E. You have to know where the best gas prices are. This is no different. We just have to get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm saying. Don't get don't get upset because you have to do it differently. It's just different, and we just got to get used to that.
So let me explain our range anxiety. So we used to have a Kia Soul Electric.
Yeah, that was our first electric car.
It only got up to 80 miles.
85.
85.
Come on now. It was in the summer I got 115.
Oh, you did. But the problem with that car is we couldn't take it to the beach.
Yeah, it wasn't enough for us
Yeah,
to
enough
even
range. And then we went to. Here's another thing too about charging. So we had took a trip to Vancouver, Washington, and they had a charging station. I was like, oh great, we got a charging station. Well, we got there, blink, bruh, what's up? Help
I
me
don't
out.
know what happened.
What happened?
We thought that was going to
What
be
happened?
the answer for America, and all of a sudden they went.
They went down, and so we ran out of charge. But the cool
Yeah.
thing, one of the games, thanking your mom, we had AAA, and so we were able to get a tow to the Kia dealership to charge.
To charge the car.
But now you're starting to see more
Chargers.
more
Charging
charges.
stations. I mean, even the power company has electric avenues downtown Portland, even in our neighborhood, and we live in a suburb of Portland. So, I mean, you just have to find out where you do it. And to be honest with you, if you buy an EV and don't have a home charger, that's on you.
Yep. And so let me say this about the range anxiety. Folks, when they tell you, hey, the range is 250, the range is not 250. The range is 225. And the reason why that is, the car at a certain level will begin to start shutting off features.
Exactly.
Like in the Kia Soul, which what I didn't like, at 20,
It would shut down the heat.
turn off the heat.
The steering wheel.
steering wheel.
That got cold. Everything. It just
Everything
starts shutting down
shutting
stuff
down.
in the car.
You're like, what's going on? So, even if a car has 200 in range, that's still not a lot of range. 300 really is not a lot of range.
No, it isn't.
You know-
And eventually we will, I have no doubt that once we get more technologically advanced in the production of the battery itself, once we figure out the technology to replace the ion and the what's the name of the chemical?
Lithium,
Not lithium. It's the
cobalt.
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 Once we figure out how to replace cobalt, I think then all this will resolve itself. We just haven't figured out how to do it yet, but it's coming.
Yep. Actually, it's already here. And folks, we're going to do a video about the two different kind of batteries, the old Tesla battery and the new Tesla battery. The old Tesla battery was created by Panasonic,
Yeah.
and it was strictly for Tesla.
Yeah.
And now Tesla's creating their own, working in conjunction with Panasonic. But we'll
Yeah.
do another video talking about the
Yeah.
two different kind of batteries.
Yeah.
Uh,
So we nerded out on you.
Yeah, we
This
did.
is just what we do, and I'm very thankful to have a loving husband that I can nerd out with. Because yes, I'm a bit of a nerd myself. But
Geeks
anyway,
rule.
Geeks rule.
Geeks rule the world. Nerds.
Anyway,
Nerd power.
this is real life, and this is our real fun.
Real
on a
fun.
Sunday morning, and this is what we do, and here we are.
We had a
and
breakfast
we
date
thought
this morning.
Yeah, and
Which was cool.
so there you go. So real life, real fun. This is Tales from a Tesla. I'm Nancy, and this is my handsome husband, Minefra, and there we go.
I'm Manefra, I'm MJ. So,
MJ.
folks, my real name is Manefra, but everyone calls me MJ. So,
MJ.
in case people
And
want
it's
to know,
not like MJ. We'll
no,
talk
it's
about that later.
MJAYI.
Anyway.
And Carlos, I'm
Yes,
going to push the button, but we do have it, Carlos. I want you to see this, Carlos.
Bye.
Bye bye.